Yeah, it's Che from Che Empyrean, and I was guided to do this transmission before I do the current energies report for today. So I will just get stuck into it, okay? Basically, this transmission is mental aspects, okay? Now, this is a continuation from the perception transmission, okay? Just to elaborate, I guess, a little bit more about what it means to be aware, okay, basically of what it is that you're perceiving and what you're projecting out there, okay. Now, as I did discuss in the perception transmission, thank you, basically, yes, it is mindfulness. Absolutely, it is. This is where you need to retrain yourself in order to watch your thoughts, okay, and be more aware and conscious of the thoughts that are coming into your mind. That you, how are we putting this? That you may be bringing in, thank you, from a human perspective, okay. And of course, to whatever degree you will, okay, it is sort of a constant thing sometimes until you hit that point of mastery where you master your mental aspects, okay. And in order to do that, you know, this is where it is required of you to watch your thoughts and constantly be aware of what's coming in, okay. I do believe that I have discussed this previously as well for you. Basically, this is you being aware, okay, mentally being aware of, shall we say, either negative or positive aspects that serve your highest good, okay. Because yes, while you have positive thoughts and stuff, you do need to consider and be aware of whether that will serve your highest good or not, okay, in regards to going forward within your process, okay. Now I have drawn up a diagram to illustrate some things for you guys, just to kind of, you know, as with all my diagrams, just to kind of show you how things work, I guess, in their own ways. And look, you know, when it comes to the whole mental mental aspects of your process, okay, it is not meant to be easy, okay, because you're coming out of your human templating systems, okay, and all the mental aspects of it, and all those thought patterns that you have, what's that word? Thank you, ingrained within yourself on a human level, okay? Now, this is as much a part of the soul matrix as your emotional aspects and all the rest of it. Part of moving from the soul matrix to the monad matrix is discerning what you need to witness, as I always say, what you need to witness and what you need to experience, okay? Discernment is extremely important, and by the time you get into the monad matrix, you're basically somewhat, to whatever degree, you have discernment down to a fine art, okay? You've mastered, shall we say, a major aspect of discernment, okay? Because by the time you get to the monad matrix and that level, okay, all of these little things need to have happened in order for you to have transcended the soul matrix, okay? And a huge part of that is mastering and transcending the mental aspects, okay? Because by the time you get into the monad matrix, you're basically relying on your higher self and your team to assist you through your days, to get you through your process, okay? Now, the diagram that I have, thank you. they're just pointing out other notes that I made, and then they're letting me know to discuss them after I show you the diagram. So I will get there. Okay, I'll just get myself into a position for this. Okay. Basically, this diagram, this is you in the middle here. Did I just wipe something? Probably. Oh well. This is you in the middle. Okay. Now, all of these green lines, okay, yes, they are projections, but they are also, for this transmission, they are your mental aspects, okay? These are all the thought patterns that you have, that you do need to master, okay? Now, from a human perspective, this is, you know, the what is and the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and you know, this is where you kind of, you kind of go into fantasy mode or daydreaming mode, and you start elaborating on all these thoughts and creating scenarios within your mind from a human perspective, okay? Because your human is still processing your mental aspects, and so therefore they will continue to create these thoughts, okay? Basically, in regards to your what is, your should, coulda, wouldas, your daydreams and your fantasies and all that stuff, okay? Basically, that is your mental aspects, okay? And I have drawn people, excuse the light. I have drawn people because that's more of a representation of what if I did this, okay? What if I did whatever this thought pattern is, that green line, or what if I did this instead, you know, and that is that green line. And let's say the third one here is I should have done this, and that is that green line, okay? Or the next one, shall we say the fourth one, is I would have done this, okay? Now, these are all mental aspects. You are creating all of these thoughts from a human perspective, okay? And this is where, if you're not careful, if you're not being aware of what it is that you are allowing into your mental space, if you are not careful, basically it will build and build, and it will become, a conglomerate of all of this mental activity and all of these thoughts. And then there's too much going on in your head, and then this also then creates your headaches, and you know, should you continue investing in that energy, it will then proceed into becoming a migraine, okay? And as I have spoken before of whenever I've received headaches and migraines on your collective's behalf, okay, this is because you guys have invested too much into those mental aspects, okay? Now, please know this, I'm not attacking you or anything, but this is just what I receive on your behalf, and so therefore I need to relay this back to you as an observation of what is going on with you, as with everything else, with the clairsentient energies and so on and so forth, the emotional stuff, all of it, okay? I'm basically, my being is basically like a news reporter for you. Basically, this is what the current energy reports are about, okay? I let you know what's going on with you, to whatever degree, also myself in regards to everything and whatnot. But anyway, we'll detach from that because that's kind of irrelevant. But in the sense that if we are just looking at the headaches, okay, the headaches and the migraines that I receive on your behalf, that is because of all the mental energies, okay? That is because of feeding too much into the what is, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and the daydreaming fantasies, all of that, okay? Now, all of these come through basically your third eye is working with you, yes, as well as your mental aspects, your mental energy, okay, in order to create these, okay? And as I have spoken of before, when you are creating all of these mentally, you are also creating those timelines, okay? Particularly when it comes to choice points, okay? And that is where we project, so on and so forth, okay? Now, what your aim here is to do, what your aim to do here is, I'm sorry, excuse me, what your aim is to remove these what ifs, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, the fantasies, the daydreaming, sorry. So basically what you're going to do is, thank you, what words am I using here? What you're going to do is you're going to, the best way to tackle your mental aspects is to take that objective perspective, okay? Don't be subjective when you're looking at your situation, whatever the situation is and however it presents for you in your physical reality. Try to do your best to step out of that subjective perspective and step into the objective perspective where you're looking in on the situation and you're you're observing and you're analyzing from an objective perspective, okay? This will assist in being mindful of what you are thinking because you are viewing your thoughts from an outside perspective, even though I know it gets confusing, but yes, you are working from within yourself, but you need to step outside of yourself for a moment to have a look at this and have a look at your physical reality, have a look at these mental aspects and what it is that you are imagining and all the rest of it, okay? And this is where you can be aware of those thoughts that are coming in and presenting themselves mentally, okay? Because they will present themselves as mental energies. And this is how you will see it for what it is. And, okay, this thought does not serve my highest good, okay? Now, if we're going to go back to this diagram, okay, with these thoughts, these are the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, okay? So let's look at this one here. Say this is a what if scenario that you're thinking of, mentally speaking. Obviously, yes. But yeah, you are elaborating and creating this scenario in regards to that mental thought, okay? You are viewing it. If you take yourself, thank you, if you take yourself out of that from being subjective, if you take yourself out of it and be objective about it and you view it as just a thought pattern that you are having, okay, just a thought process, okay, and you see that thought come in and you see how it's playing out, whatever the scenario is, and then you be aware of it and acknowledge that, do you know what, this doesn't serve my highest good, I don't need to feed this energy, okay? And once you've acknowledged that and realised that you don't need to feed that energy, you will then stop thinking that. And that removes that line of thought, okay? And then another thought comes in and you view it from an outside perspective, okay? You view that, you see it come in, you analyze it and see whether that serves your highest good or not. If it doesn't, we let that thought go. We just let it go, okay? And once we let it go, that removes another, okay? And you continue to do this. This is mindfulness. You continue to be aware of your thoughts, okay? And be aware of whether those thoughts serve your highest good or not, okay? And as you continue, you will remove these thought processes, okay? Now, the important thing to realize, particularly with your mental aspects here, is that, can we please get this out of me because I'm feeling parasites and disturbing. Basically, the important thing to realize here with your mental aspects is that more often than not, they are your humans' thoughts, okay, your little human's thoughts. And your little human wants to run through all these scenarios and wants to do the shoulda, coulda, wouldas and the what ifs and have these fantasies and whatever it may be. It is your little human and their mental aspects coming through, okay? And in being aware of what your little human self is thinking, you can then be mindful of the thoughts that you allow into your mind, okay? And this is how you're going to work through those mental aspects, okay? This is how we're going to release those mental aspects. We just let go of it because we don't need to feed those energies, okay? And basically what then happens is as you release these mental aspects and you let go of them and you no longer allow them to fill your mental space, okay, what happens with that is you end up with, we'll say, an empty mind, okay? It's not that you are empty and completely void of thoughts, no. Because your little human will always try to come through with thoughts, okay? And this is where you need to be aware of what's coming in, okay? But basically, in terms of mindfulness, thank you for the goosebumps. Excuse me. In terms of mindfulness, okay, it is a process of being aware of your thoughts, okay? Yes, actions and all that, but for now, we'll just focus on the mental aspects, okay? You're being mindful of what is coming through into your mental space, okay? And the more you empty all of that out from your human's perception, shall we say, okay? The more you clear that space and empty it out, the more your higher self, if you can see that, okay? The more your higher self can come through and communicate with you, with your human, on a consciously aware level, okay? This is when you can really start to hear them, okay, clairaudiently, and you can, what's the word? You can, thank you, you can somewhat rely on them to assist you in doing whatever inner work you need to do or get through your day and all the rest of it, okay? You're basically coming into a space of surrender. You're surrendering your mental aspects in order to allow that space to be clear so that your higher self can feed you information and messages, okay? And basically what happens with that is once that space is clear, as I said, your higher self can feed you the messages and information. And as this happens, your third eye and your clairaudience really start to, I've put it there, but they really start to work together, okay, as one. Part of your process, yes, is to fine-tune all your clair abilities, okay, and this is one of the ways that you can really work at it from the mental space aspect, shall we say. Basically, thank you, it is an unlearning in order to relearn what your soul already knows. I know I've said it 1,000 times and we can stop the goosebumps. But you are relearning how to rely on your higher self, okay? And to listen and communicate and to have that, what is it, is a rapport or, sorry, my voice went really weird then, or alignment, okay? It is working towards that alignment between your human self and your higher self, okay? And this is how you will strengthen that communication between your higher self and your human self, okay? And so once you empty your mental space, so to speak, okay, your higher self can feed you all of this information and it will present through your clairaudience and through your third eye, okay? So you will hear the voices of your team or your higher self, okay? Please know that if you don't already know it, they have quite a neutral tone. They always do, okay? Unless there is a, shall we say, an assertive tone that they do need to take with you for whatever reason. Sometimes that does come through and it's like, okay, oh shit. But, you know, and that's more just, oh shit, I need to do whatever it is that they're asking me to do. Excuse me. But basically, this assists in heightening your clair abilities, okay? Particularly those two working together, your third eye and your clairaudience. You know, thank you, clairaudience, cognizance, and clairvoyance, okay? All those three will really start working together the more you are mindful and being objective of your mental thoughts, okay? The more you clear that stuff out of you, your human's mental energies, the more you clear that out, the more those three clairs can work together, okay? More, thank you, in sync with each other, okay? This is how we fine-tune our clair abilities in order to do everything else that we are here to do, basically, okay? So, and then what's going to happen from that point onwards is that every single time your little human has a thought come in, you will just be aware of it and you will be able to pick it up straight away and know that, do you know what, this doesn't serve my highest good, I'm letting this thought go. Do you know what, I don't need to think that, I don't need to, okay, you get the picture, basically. And then as you continue to surrender more mentally to your higher self, what's actually going to happen is that you will further expand, okay? This is where all of this works together, okay? And you expand even further, okay, within your process, within yourself. And that's why I've put the rings there, because it allows your higher self to come in more. And as your higher self comes in more, you expand more and more, okay, as a being. And you will feel that within yourself. You will feel the expansion. 22, 12, 13, 14, 15. Thank you. But yeah, so, you know, look, in regards to mental aspects, it is a lot to have to work through because we are emptying the human selves, thought patterns. We're breaking down all those mental aspects and templates that we have lived through and become and integrated, I guess, to whatever degree within ourselves through our humans' lives. But the thing is, once you hit the fast track portion and into the initiates level, okay, of your process, you're basically working to remove all that shit, basically. And as I've said many times, okay, we are breaking down all of those templates. We're releasing all of those thought patterns that do not serve humanity's highest good, okay? And this is where each and every one of us is working towards the same cause, okay? Yes, we are doing it within ourselves for our own process in order for ourselves to ascend, absolutely. But in doing that within ourselves, we are assisting on a much larger scale for everybody else as well, okay? Because you are not here just for yourself, you are here for all, okay? Because, you know, excuse me, it always comes back to unity consciousness and the oneness, okay? That is why we're here, particularly at this time with this ascension cycle that is really massive. We're all working together. Thank you for the song again. We're all in this together. I should just get that song and just kind of have it as an intro song or something, or an outro, I don't know. It just seems a little too technical for me to do. I'd rather, as I've said before, I'd rather just turn on the camera and deliver the information to you, but, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so, you know, that is the macro level, okay, of your process. But in order to affect on a larger scale, shall we say, in order to affect the masses, you have to do that work within you, okay? You need to practice awareness and mindfulness, okay? And of course, this relates also to your emotional aspects too, be mindful and aware of the emotions that are coming through. And as I always say, is it for me to witness, or is it for me to go through an experience and get that garbage out of me, out of my light body, okay? I don't really need to speak so much on the emotional aspects, because it's very much the same thing as with your mental aspects, okay? We just need to use discernment as to whether it serves our highest good or not, okay? Whether we're just meant to witness it and let it go, or we're meant to go through it and work through that energy in order to get it out of us, okay? So it asks of you to just be more aware of yourself, of everything that is going on within you, your mental aspects, emotional aspects, what's happening in your physical reality, what it is that you're projecting and bringing into your physical reality, as well as everything else. It is a huge process of awareness. Okay, this whole transcendence thing, it's beyond some days, but please know that once you get into the habit of being aware, and you're kind of building that awareness within yourself, and you are constantly fine-tuning it, okay? This is how you progress in your process, is that you fine-tune all of these things, all of these aspects within yourself, and so that it creates the space, as I said before, it creates the space to, you remove the shit and you create the space for your higher self to come in, okay? I have spoken of the avatar embodiment and all of that, but even before you hit the avatar embodiment, you do need to allow space for your higher self to come in and guide you through your day and give you the information and the messages that you need for yourself, okay? Allow for your downloads to come in and to have your epiphanies. And the more awareness that you can practice within yourself for your process, the better off you are going to be, because you're working more towards becoming the better version or best version of yourself, okay? And the thing is that they're literally shocking me with so many goosebumps right now. Thank you, but we can stop. 27, 22, and 23, 24. Thank you. And look, I've just lost my train of thought. Thank you. So yes, you are working towards your best version of yourself, okay? And in regards to practicing that awareness and fine-tuning it, okay, what you are then also doing for yourself is allowing all your clair abilities to work together as one, okay? So then goosebumps. So then you're going to come into a space and continue from that space onwards. You will come into a space where you basically, I have spoken of this many times, but you basically feel like you are in a virtual reality cinematic experience, okay? This is the point that you want to get to in order to do all the other things that you need to do within your process, because your clair senses are a foundation for all of your other tasks and everything else, which I will get into in another transmission. But for now, that is basically it, okay? And in fine-tuning your awareness and listening to your higher awareness as you go along, in fine-tuning all of that, you're allowing all your clair abilities to work together as one, and then this then presents as your virtual reality cinematic experience as you deal with all these energies that come in for you to perceive, witness, let go, whichever way that it is meant to be within your process, okay? It is a huge deal, okay? If we have not done the work, we will see how much work we need to do, okay? Particularly with awareness. And look, for the most part, you guys here at this point, you kind of know what you're doing, okay? You know what it is that you need to be aware of and how to be aware of it as well. But for the sake of this transmission, it's more of an elaboration on, the mental aspect and the whole awareness side of things. And there is an end goal, of course there always is, but one of your milestone markers, one of the milestone markers is to have all of your clair abilities working together as one within your being, so that you do have your virtual reality cinematic experience. Okay. And that's for those of you who know that is what you need to do, that you do need to work on these. You do need to fine tune the clair abilities, okay, within yourself. Please also know that not everybody is going to have all of their clairs on. Maybe they will only have 6 of them on, and they need to fine tune all of that and work from that foundational space, if that makes sense. Or maybe some will only have, this is why I'm saying it, goosebumps, or some will only have 3 clair abilities on, and that's what they're working with in order to do their higher dimensional tasks, okay, or 4, okay. It's each to their own in accordance to their soul contracts, okay. Some people have contracted to have all of their abilities on so that they do hit that pocket and that space of the virtual reality cinematic experience, and then they continue onwards within their process, within that space of virtual reality cinematic experience. And I am most definitely one of those. That's not so much fun some days, but it is what it is. But there are some pretty amazing things that come with that too, because just as much as you are experiencing virtual reality cinematic experience through negative aspects of timelines and going through torture aspects and all that kind of negative energies and whatever harshness, there is also the positives as well, where you get dropped into these timelines where things are really beautiful, and maybe you're having time with your counterpart, or you're going through particular experiences that you need to for your process, but they're beautiful and they're amazing. It's all inclusive at both ends, okay. And part of the process, as I've said previously, we embrace everything, and because all of these are aspects of ourselves that need to be worked through, witnessed, all of it, okay. And regardless of it all, we just need to accept it from the basis of unconditional love, regardless of what presents, okay. And look, in regards to mental aspects and emotional aspects, some days can be extremely tough. Absolutely. And look, you guys know I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it's a freaking smooth ride. It's not. Absolutely not. Not from my experience, my personal experience. I've had so many shitty experiences in regards to working through my mental and emotional aspects, and being aware of what's coming in, and from both aspects, and all of that. And then on top of that, having to deal with all these energies that I need to work through, and intergalactic from the monad level and all that stuff. Some days feels like too much, okay. And I can feel stuff. I'm sorry if I'm triggering anybody, but please process that, okay. I can feel it. But yeah, some days feel like they're too much. Some days feel like there's just too much going on. There's too much to be aware of. There's too much to what's that word? To acknowledge and to process, okay? Of course there's tough days, but you need to get through them. And you need to get through them as best you can, okay? And, as I said previously, particularly with mental and emotional aspects, if you are being guided to go through them, Golden Globe performance or Academy Award performance, do it. Just go for gold, okay? Get that shit out of you, all right? Remove all those unnecessary layers so that you can go forward from a more clear, balanced, neutral space, okay? That is the aim of your game. regardless of whatever presents and everything, okay? And it's not easy, but we do our best, okay? And some days we fall down, some days we're flying high, we're pushing through all these things and feeling $1 million, like we've really just achieved a lot in one day. And then other days it's like this one thing just won't go away, and that those are the days that you need to work through that stuff and get it out of you, okay? But yeah, I mean, look, I've touched on the basics here, but of course, when you're pulling in all the mental and emotional aspects and the spectrum of each, okay, it's quite large in itself from a human perspective, because the human has lived its whole life up until the initiate's point, okay? It's lived its whole life, it's grown, it's adapted, it's formed their ideas, it's fed into all these template systems, all the rest of it, okay? So of course there's huge amounts of mental and emotional aspects that need to be worked through, okay? And look, if you're not at the monad level yet, for some of you, you're probably still working through a lot of the soul matrix stuff, okay? And then for others of you, you're kind of in between, because you've realized what it is that you need to do. You've become more aware of yourself, and you've worked through a lot of this stuff, and you're about to come into the monad space as well, okay? So there's a few different areas, and look, there's so many different level markers for each matrix, it's countless, but we don't think about, we do our best to not think about just how much there is that we have to do, okay? We take it a day at a time, one foot in front of the other, okay, a step at a time, all right? Because if you start thinking of all the shit that you've got to do and blah, 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 that's where you start building those mental aspects, and then you have to work twice as hard to get through them and get them out, okay? So, yeah, do your best to keep things as simple as possible, okay? This is where you come into spaces of mastery, okay? This is how you master yourself, is to keep things as simple as possible. Keep your emotional aspects as simple as possible, your mental aspects as simple as possible, and be as mindful and aware as you can of what it is that you are projecting outwardly as well, and what's coming back at you from those projections, okay? But it's it's really just the path of mastery, isn't it? I mean, there's so much to master, but it is worth it. It is absolutely worth it. When you get to a point and you look back and you, sorry, I feel your emotions, I'm so sorry. When you get to a point and you look back and you see how far you've come within your process, that's pretty amazing. And you should give yourself a pat on the back. I'm detaching from it. Thank you. You should absolutely congratulate yourself on the work that you have done up to this point, regardless of whatever level that you perceive yourself at, okay? The other thing I do need to point out as well, particularly with your path of transcendence, please, and I think I have mentioned it before, but please do not compare yourself to others and other people's processes, because each is unique for them, okay? For you, yourself, for them, for themselves, so on and so forth, okay? Everyone is just on a different path and process for themselves, okay? And so, we can't think of, how are we putting this? Thank you. We can't really bog ourselves down with the thoughts of, oh, that person is so advanced and, they've come into these abilities and they can do all these things and blah, 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 blah. Why can't I do those things? And most likely the answer is you're probably not meant to, because you're not there. You're not in that space because you have your own unique process to go through, okay? And everything happens exactly as it should when it should for you. regardless of everything outside of you, okay? Please understand that you are exactly where you are meant to be, okay? You are always exactly where you're meant to be, regardless of all the stuff outside of you, okay? You have done everything that you have done through your life and all the rest of it to get to this point, and you are exactly where you're meant to be, okay? Regardless of whatever it is that you have still to come into, regardless of where somebody else is and how advanced they are or how advanced they're not, okay? All of those aspects, they are mental aspects, yes, we need to let them go because they don't serve our highest good, because that's not going to help us within our process, because we need to focus here and we need to focus on what we need to do for ourselves and fine-tuning our awareness for ourselves within our unique process, okay? And everything else doesn't matter, okay? Nobody else outside of you matters except for what you're doing here, because as I said, in what you do here, you are affecting on a larger scale anyway, okay? And so, you know, you just need to strip back all that stuff and let go of those worries. And, you know, the saying, don't sweat the small stuff. You don't need to, you know, with all the other aspects and energies that you have to deal with that come into your space, you know, be it on higher dimensional levels or within your physical reality, that is where your focus needs to be, okay? And we don't need to worry about the little things because they're irrelevant, okay? More often than not, those little things, those little worries are more to do with the little human than anything else, and their little rah-rahs and all that stuff, okay? But yeah, let it all go and do your best to fine-tune your awareness and, you know, walk your path, your unique path, as it was written, yes, but as you are meant to, because you are exactly where you're meant to be right now, okay? Thank you for yourself, all right? Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I believe I've covered everything. I've barely even looked at the notes. Yeah, I have. Yeah. Yeah, I've covered everything. So I hope this has assisted you in the process of building your awareness, okay, of everything, yes, but of mental aspects particularly, okay, in regards to mindfulness and all of that, and related to the previous transmission of perception and projection, okay. This is how you nip things in the bud, okay, is to watch your thoughts, watch them come in, and then watch them leave. Basically, if they don't serve your highest good, let them go. Watch them leave, okay? Just let it go and continue onwards, okay? All right, guys, I'll leave it there. If you have any questions that you want to discuss or anything about this transmission or any previous transmissions, please let me know, and I will discuss that for you. And if there's anything else that you want me to actually discuss as well, please do let me know that too, in terms of transmission for everybody. But I'll leave that with you. That's up to you if you feel guided to. But yeah, so hopefully this breaks that down things a little bit more for you and assists you just a little bit more, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves, stay strong, and keep going. All right, sending you all so much love. Mwah. Okay, bye for now.